And we're going to start the recording here. So again, thank you very much for taking some time out of your busy schedules. For anybody who does not know me at this point, my name is Tom Jackson. I'm the Vice President of Product Development and Regulatory Affairs here at ARIIX. And so it's my job to head up, under the direction of Deanna Latson, the R&D and product development and market research teams here at ARIIX. And so I love to talk about our products because there's nobody in the company more proud of our products than me. And I see all the work that's gone into them, all the work that we continue to put into them. You know, we always are looking to upgrade and make our products even better. So there's a lot of work that goes on in developing new products and keeping those going. And I'm just really proud of our team and the work that they do, and the products that we've been able to put out there, and the things we've been able to do to help improve people's lives. And a lot of that, of course, is due to the work that you're doing out there in the field. So my thanks and our thanks to all of you for your continued hard work. So today we're going to talk about Slenderiiz. And we're not really going to spend a lot of time talking about the products or the drops necessarily or whatever. What I wanted to do is just talk about weight loss in general. I want to kind of talk about the problems and the challenges that you face out there as you talk to people about weight loss and about improving their lives, and about the changes that you see would benefit people in their lives, and how you go about spreading that message. So I'm gonna share my screen here. I've got some slides. We're just gonna kind of go through this. And again, these are fairly casual. We're gonna save some time at the end for questions. So in the chat, if you've got some questions, go ahead and ask that. We should have some time at the end to go through, and I'll select some of those questions and see if I can't answer some of those. So let's get going here. Let me share my screen. Hopefully I do this right. And here we go. Hey, Don, I saw you just asked a question. This is recorded. This will go on the back office. It takes usually a couple days to get up, but these are recorded. All of the Saturday sessions now that I'm doing, as well as Ian Chandler doing on the business, those are getting on the back office. Okay, so let's talk about Slenderiiz. This is a topic and a brand that is very near and dear to my heart. And the reason why is, you know, this is an area where I've had my own personal story, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the reason I think it's such a critical brand and such a critical part of our company and what we can offer to others is that it's such a huge problem. It's just you know, no pun intended, but it's an enormous problem. Worldwide obesity in the last 20 years has gained 30%. We're seeing it globally now. It's not an American problem. It's not a North America problem, with America and Mexico still leading the issue. Other countries are seeing their own challenges. Europe is catching up to us very, very quickly. The top two now obesity percentages to scale are, of course, two markets that we're in and have the ability to make some changes: US and UK. In the top 10, of course, Mexico is still up there. A lot of obesity problems in Mexico. So this is another area where we as Americans get to say, "Yay, we're number one!" Right? We're really proud of this. Well, you know, I wish we weren't number one, and I would do anything to change that. Again, I have my own story. I was at the point several years ago, and some of you have heard me talk about this, where I was just truly unhealthy. And I want to just take a second and talk about this, make this point really, really clearly. Slenderiiz and the program and the health benefits behind it are just that. It's a way to become more healthy. It's not about pounds. It's not about the number on the scale. That number on the scale looks different for all of us. What healthy looks like on the scale is different for all of us. And our body shapes are different. All of those things. But it's not making you skinny. That's not the objection here. It's making you healthy. It's returning you to good health. So here I was a couple years ago. I was miserable. I went to bed every night tired. I woke up with a bad back. My knees hurt. Everything hurt when I got up. I snored so badly, my wife wanted to kick me out of bed every night. I had problems with acid reflux. My asthma was out of control. All of these things were so bad with me, and it was just ridiculous. And you know, there's a picture here of me in a green shirt on a family vacation several years ago. Everybody else is having fun, and I'm probably thinking, where's the closest churro? So it was just my way of life, and it was unhealthy. And some of us have been there, and we know what that's like. And then I you know, have used Slenderiiz and have got my health back. I run competitive races now. I try to stay healthy. I am so much happier. I'm really in a good place, and so much of that is due to Slenderiiz and the wonderful products and the wonderful support around this program. I'll talk about a little bit better about how all these products work together, not just in the Slenderiiz brand, but across the line, across the company, and how all of those products can help each one of us regain our health, and can do the same for those out there that you're talking to as well. So this is why Slenderiiz is near and dear to my heart, because it saved my health. It returned me to a place where I've wanted to be for a long time. So the problem is being overweight is actually it's seen as normal nowadays. We see people justifying it with the dad bod and body shaming, and you know, don't ridicule anybody for their shape. And I agree with that. We shouldn't ever ridicule or bully or make fun of anybody for the shape that they're in. But the problem is society is starting to normalize being overweight, and it shouldn't. It's not a cosmetic issue. It really is it's a health issue, and it is shortening people's lives. It is ruining their quality of life, and it is taking years off of their life. It is not an appearance thing. It is a health issue, and unfortunately, it's getting to the place where society is starting to get used to it because it's all around us. Well, obesity and being overweight is a difficult thing to tackle. And the reason why is it's a combination of a lot of different factors: physiological factors, biochemistry factors, hormonal factors. Your endocrine system plays such a huge role in weight management, psychology, sleep. So many different things come into play when you're talking about getting to a healthy weight and tackling obesity and overweight. And so this is why a lot of people struggle with it, because they don't understand that this is a really multifactorial and very complex system when we start talking about weight loss and weight management. And what's beautiful about the Slenderiiz system, the way it was set up, is that it's set up to tackle all of these different issues. We're gonna talk about here in a minute all the different things that have to be tackled when you go after effective weight loss. And if you're missing any of these factors, it just makes the whole thing so much more difficult. So we are in a position, I think, with our products and our program and our system to confidently say we can. Now, we never promise that somebody's gonna keep the weight off forever and that they'll never rebound, because you can't control what they do after they quit the program or you know, down the road. But if somebody continues to use the principles that they learn on the Slenderiiz program long term, they are going to keep the weight off long term, and they're going to see continued success. Even if they stop taking the drops, if they stop taking things, if they continue to do those things that they learn while they're on the program, they're going to see that improvement of health, and it's going to be a long-term thing. I know from my own my own experience, I've been able to keep my weight off and actually improve over about the course of 3 years. Certainly that's good long-term health. You know, I mean, you compare that to, I pulled some stats here, compare that to the normal stats. See if I can find this here. I have some notes. This was actually interesting. A Washington University in St. Louis followed a group of 1,200 overweight men and women for a year following a weight loss program. Their study, which was published in the American Heart Journal in 2007, found that individuals lost or kept off an average of 1 pound long term. Now that is pretty amazing. I'm going to just look here. Okay, we've got somebody who needs to mute themselves. Unfortunately, I can't see who this is. All right, sorry about that interruption. Let's look at these factors of weight loss. Looks like Mary Rickards, will you unmute yourself? I think that's our issue. Okay, sorry about that, folks. So weight loss out there in the typical industry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to stop for a minute. I'm getting horrible feedback from somebody. Would everybody take a second and please mute themselves? All right, thank you. Okay, weight loss industry. This is how the weight loss industry typically handles weight loss. They will tell you that diet and exercise are the way that you lose weight and keep it off. Well, we know that could not be further from the truth. Diet and exercise are a great foundation for weight loss, and we know that without those, a weight loss program is probably going to fail. But those two factors on their own are not going to breed success. So what a lot of companies do is they'll add in a third component, and that is to give you an appetite suppressant. Figuring that if you're starving yourself and you're going to the gym every day and you're miserable and you're trying to lose weight and you hate it and you want to stop, which is what most people do after a couple weeks, well, they're going to give you an appetite suppressant just so that your misery lasts, just so you can handle that just a little bit longer. Most standard diets that are based on diet and exercise alone last typically about 2 weeks. So when you add in an appetite suppressant, a lot of companies are able to push that to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 before you give up, because they've just been able to kind of stave off that misery for a couple more weeks. Well, again, there's so many things, so many factors that are missing. So we could go through these and look at all of the other factors that are involved. And if these things are not addressed, then it's almost a guarantee that your program long-term is going to fail. So you look at all of these things that have to be addressed. Metabolism, your gut bacteria, your gut health, insulin resistance, which is an issue that most people have to get over, and we talk a lot, and we'll talk about a little bit about blood glucose control. Sleep and stress, cortisol development is such a big thing, carb cravings, hormone balance. All of these things, again, are part of this complex system of weight loss. And if they're not all addressed sufficiently, then you're just continually fighting an uphill battle against your body and against its cravings and against what your body is telling you it needs, which is where we run into these problems again of carb cravings, sugar cravings, insulin spikes, and that roller coaster that happens there. So this is a very, very complex system. A lot of things are addressed. Well, the great thing about Slenderiiz is that the Slenderiiz program does address all of these issues between the products and the meal plan and the entire program and the supporting products as well. So one of the things that I love about the Slenderiiz program, and let me just make a note here, I'm talking about both the formula that is of the drops that is available in US, as well as the day and night drops that we introduced into Europe, Mexico, and Taiwan. So both of these systems address this issue the same way. Well, let me talk about hormones. So I love this part of weight loss. I love to talk about the hormones because a lot of people don't understand the role that hormones play in your hunger. And there are two specifically that play a huge role. And one is called ghrelin. The other is called leptin. Now these two are, ghrelin is actually produced in your gut. Leptin is produced by the fat. Now ghrelin has one job. Ghrelin's job is to tell you, I am hungry. That's all it ever does. 24/7, ghrelin's job is to reach your pituitary gland and tell your brain, I'm hungry. And it never stops sending that message. The only thing that can quiet ghrelin is leptin. Leptin's job is to tell your brain, I'm full, I've had enough. Well, ironically, what happens is when we have a lot of fat, we produce a lot of leptin. And your brain stops listening to the leptin. It's called leptin resistance. And so it gets the signal so much from leptin that it starts ignoring it. Anybody with kids ought to be familiar with this concept. You know, when your child is just 24/7 telling you they want something, you're either going to give into it or you're just going to learn to ignore it and you just don't even hear them. So ghrelin and leptin, these little guys are, again, it is their job to, one, tell you, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And then leptin's job is to say, no, I've had enough, I'm full. Now, if you're overweight and you have a lot of fat and you're producing a lot of leptin, then that signal saying I'm full gets lost, and the brain cannot quiet the leptin, and so you're left with these cravings, you're left with this hunger, and your hormones are just completely out of whack. So one of the great things about Slenderiiz is it's been developed to address these hormones and to help balance your hunger hormones, especially these two, ghrelin and leptin. There are other hormones that come into place. We're all very familiar with insulin. A lot of us are familiar with cortisol and other hormones that come into play here. But these two, ghrelin and leptin, play such a major role in what our brain is telling us in terms of being hungry and craving certain kinds of foods. That is such a big part of why the drops were developed the way they were, because they address the hormonal issues and the hormonal signals that specifically affect ghrelin and leptin as well. And then, of course, as you start to lose fat and that leptin is then reduced, your body gets over that leptin resistance and starts hearing that signal a little bit better as well. So that's also a major benefit as you then start to lose some of that fat. So again, the Slenderiiz and conversely, the day drops in the other markets were both developed to deliver ingredients that attack ghrelin, that quiet ghrelin, and that suppress it. And these, so again, these drops, we're not really going to go into details on the ingredients really, but just know that this is one of the major areas of fat loss and weight loss, because if you're not quieting the hormones, you're going to have a very difficult time, because again, that signal is telling your brain, it's like that little toddler just nagging at you all day long. I'm hungry, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. If you can't quiet that down, sooner or later, all of us, I don't care how good your willpower is, sooner or later you're going to give into that. And then that's just going to start that cycle. You're going to spike your blood sugar, insulin's going to flood in, it's going to crash, you're going to get on that insulin roller coaster. And again, when that crashes, guess what else starts screaming a little bit louder? It's the ghrelin again. So again, Slenderiiz and the Slenderiiz program, there's two factors here. Number one, the drops, and number two, the meal plan, because remember, the meal plan is set up to be very, very low glycemic. Again, it's going to level that out. You're not going to get the spikes and the crashes. You're not going to get those big floods of insulin and ghrelin going into your system. So as you learn to eat healthier on the program, and as you learn to eat in a way that's going to maintain your blood sugar at a constant level, that also helps quiet these hormones. And so these two things together, the diet plan and these drops, work so fantastically to get your hunger hormones back in balance, that it's just amazing. It's like nothing I've ever seen in a weight loss program, because nothing else really addresses this aspect. And then, of course, other things are built into these drops, things to help you sleep, especially in the European version, in the night drops. And then in the Accelerate as well, some things that help quiet cortisol. Cortisol and stress go hand in hand, and as cortisol has one job, and cortisol's job is to produce fat, or to actually store fat, and especially around the midsection. So the more cortisol you have in your system, the more you're going to store that fat, and especially around the midsection, because what it's telling your body is, I'm stressed, I need to preserve energy, I need energy reserves. It's an evolutionary response, and so we know cortisol also plays a big part in it. Well, the Accelerate and the night drops, conversely, in other countries, help modulate and help regulate the cortisol production. So again, you can see how all of these things play a role together. We can go into other things. We talked about gut bacteria. We talked about how important it is to have prebiotics and probiotics, and how important it is to have healthy foods. And so, there are other things obviously added into the program. Pure Nourish is a great one. Just those, we all have to eat throughout the day. We have to keep our energy levels up. So it's so great to have a healthy alternative, a healthy snack, clean protein, good prebiotics, enzymes, probiotics that are just going to help maintain the health of the gut bacteria. And so the Pure Nourish shakes, the boosts as well, are fantastic to add to the drops and use in the Slenderiiz program. The optimals, I hope everybody, whether you're on the Slenderiiz program or not, I hope everybody understands the importance of the optimals and how comprehensive they are, and what a great insurance program they are for good health. They've just been built to be so comprehensive and so broad spectrum in terms of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, cofactors, everything else that you need for good cellular nutrition. Well, how does that play a role in weight loss? Well, again, metabolism, and you need to keep your metabolism up if you're looking for weight loss or fat loss. Well, metabolism is a very complex process. It's actually a lot of complex processes put together. It's not just one system that happens. And all of those metabolic systems and processes require chemicals at different points to work properly. They need a lot of minerals, a lot of vitamins, a lot of cofactors to work properly. So if your body is missing some of those nutrients, then your metabolism is going to struggle to stay up and to stay efficient. So again, you need those key nutrients that are found in the optimals to make sure that your metabolic processes are functioning correctly. And again, if you remember that wheel with all of the factors in there, metabolism is a big one. If your metabolism is slowing, and it does naturally as we age, if you need to keep that metabolism up at a good, healthy rate, you need all of those nutrients. I hear a lot of so-called weight loss experts who talk about metabolism, and they talk about stimulants. Well, stimulants may increase your metabolic rate short term, but they're not making your metabolic processes more efficient. That comes from the key nutrients that you find in something like the optimals. Omega Q. Omega-3 fatty acids, there's been so much written and so much studied and so much published about the effect of omega-3 fatty acids on weight loss. And the mechanism there, the way that works, is increasing your glucose sensitivity. And so, if your body is, again, insulin resistant, sorry, I stumbled over my own words, then your body's having to produce even more insulin to do the same job to counteract glucose. And that just leads to bigger spikes, bigger crashes, and then you've got more insulin in your body. And as long as insulin is present in the body, your body will not pull nutrients from fat cells. It will just continue to look for it in your diet. So you need to get rid of insulin in your system as soon as you can after you eat, so that your body starts to pull nutrients from the fat cells. So insulin resistance is a big thing. Glucose sensitivity is such a big thing, and reasons why omega-3 fatty acids are so good. They're also great against inflammation. Again, inflammation has to be tackled for a good, effective weight loss. Magna-Cal D, I love this product. Absolutely love this product. Just all of the evidence that's coming out, especially on vitamin D and its effects on proper weight loss, metabolism, and again, metabolic processes is just fantastic. The other thing too is there's a lot of good evidence that calcium and magnesium both help reduce the cravings for fatty foods, which is, here's the thing, fats get a bad rap in the world of nutrition, and they really shouldn't, except that there are some fats that are not healthy for you, saturated fats and trans fats. But by and large, fat is not the enemy. Sugar is the enemy. Fat has kind of gotten a bad rap and a bad name. You do actually need healthy fats in your diet. Your brain needs healthy fats, especially to function well. But Magna-Cal D, if you do struggle and you do crave fatty foods, or you're working with somebody who does really crave fatty foods, Magna-Cal D is great to help reduce some of those fat cravings. Restorix, we all know the importance, I think, of detoxing. Your body holds so many toxins in its fat cells, and so as somebody that starts to lose fat and those fat cells release their contents, a lot of that is toxins. And so you need something in your system to flush those out, just so they don't bind somewhere else, so they don't end up accumulating somewhere else in the liver and the kidneys. And so you just want to be able to flush all of those toxins out of your body once your fat cells release them. And then Rejuvenex. Again, we talked about increasing metabolic rate. You want to make sure you've got the key nutrients to increase the efficiency of your metabolism, but it's also not a bad thing to keep that metabolism revving a little bit higher. So Rejuvenex does that. It kind of keeps up your metabolism and provides you with good cellular energy. Again, so much of this happens at the cellular level, and as long as your cells are producing and efficient and working the way they should, then your systems, your organs, everything else works equally as efficiently. But remember, so much of this happens at the cellular level. People kind of forget that Rejuvenex is not only for as a stimulant, but it also has a lot of great herbs in it to increase cellular energy as well. So here's the thing. Let's talk about this for just a minute. As you go out and you talk to prospects about weight loss, one of my favorite phrases is be a product of the product. And it's something that we all try to do here in the office and in my department, our team. We all try to be a product of the product. And some of you have great weight loss and fat loss stories of your own. And I know some of you have made some just fantastic transformations. I see it every day. There's so many of you that I'm so proud of, the efforts that you've made to improve your own health. As you go out and talk to people, weight loss is kind of a hard one to broach sometimes. You may be dealing with somebody, and it's probably obvious to you and obvious to them as well, that they are not where they want to be in terms of their ideal weight. And so sometimes that's a little bit of a touchy subject. Sometimes it's tender and it's difficult to talk about. But if you have your own story to tell, if you have your own experience to share, that's a lot less confrontational and a lot less scary to talk about with people, because then you're talking about your own example, and people can easily say, can easily then ask questions about what you did rather than asking questions about what they need to do, because it is kind of a sensitive subject for a lot of people. And so as you go out and you talk to prospects and you sell Slenderiiz, I know sometimes it can be a challenge because of that. And so if you are the example and you are the one sharing your experiences and sharing why you love this program so much, that makes things so much easier. You can talk about your own problem, your own solution, and then those things easily lead to a call to action. So be the example, and then be the motivation. I have a very good friend, used to be a coworker, ex college football player. Guy was in wonderful shape. He's maintained his health and his physique over the years. Works out like crazy, and he played a very, very big role in changing my health and my habits as well. And so he was a great motivator to me. He was never he understood when I slipped, when I relapsed, when I wasn't having good days, and he always just kind of coached me through those. And you have the ability to coach people as well. So be the motivation. Don't just sell them the Slenderiiz system and then disappear. Please don't ever do that. People will not only question your motives and why, and whether you are just after a sale and a quick buck, but they'll also wonder about how much you care about them as a friend, as a long-term potential friend. And again, we're in a business of networking and building relationships and building friendships. And it's such a great thing to follow somebody on their journey to better health and to be a motivator for them. So do that, please. Be a motivator, be a coach, and then just be the change. Be the thing that helps people change. Whether that is introducing them to other products, whether that's introducing them to the business and getting them signed up, whether, it's just getting them to see how they can change their lives. And change is not an event. Change is a process. And so as we talk about the Slenderiiz program, it is all about the process of change. And so understand that this is not a quick program. Even though a lot of people see results very quickly, the process of changing somebody's behavior and habits and taste buds and cravings and all of these types of things does take time. And so remember that this is a process, and again, coach them through it. But as you go out there and you approach people and you talk to people about Slenderiiz, be honest about it. Please be upfront. Be honest. That don't scare people away. I don't want to hear somebody say, "Oh, this is really hard and it's going to make you miserable for months and you're going to, it's such a long road." You don't want to tell them that either, because the system, the program, as I think many of you know, is very easy to follow. It doesn't mean that weight loss is easy, but the program itself is easy to understand and easy to follow, because all you have to do is explain to people that as they take these products and as they follow the meal plan, they are addressing all of the different factors related to weight loss, related to fat loss. It's kind of like we've done all the hard work for you. We've done all the research. We've put everything together in a very specific way to address all of these things. And so they don't have to think necessarily. They just have to follow the program. And so as people do that, they see the results. But be honest with people that those results do take time. And that process of change is something that does vary for a lot of people. And so as we go out and sell the Slenderiiz program and the supporting products around it, again, be the motivator, be the coach, be the cheerleader, be the change. And just remember that people do need to change. It's not magic. There's nothing about our drops that's magical. There's nothing about the program that's magical. There is nothing about anything that we have put in there, any single ingredient, any combination of ingredients that is super secret or completely proprietary or magical. It is based on solid, established science and physiology and biology, and we've done it in the easiest way we can to put everything together in a way that, like I said, we've done all the research for you. But the change has to come, and each one of you can play a huge role in that change, because we know nothing changes if nothing changes. And so go be the change, go be the motivator, go be the example, and understand what a powerful, powerful tool you have in your arsenal with the Slenderiiz program. Again, I have been in this industry for 20 plus years. I have seen countless weight loss programs and processes and products, and I have honestly never seen anything like the Slenderiiz program. When I joined this company 3 years ago and did the research into what had been developed and what we were continuing to work on and develop, was just fantastic, because I finally realized I was working for a company that understood health and understood how you become and how you become healthy and how you maintain your health. And that's what's so wonderful about the Slenderiiz program. So with that, I'm going to just stop the recording here. And